Hey, hey, plug up. Plug. I don't even understand how the fuck my plug talk.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Plug Talk, man. It's one of the craziest days of my life, man. I'm telling you, the greatest fight also.
Yeah.
We're doing the post-match reaction to the greatest fight of all time, in my opinion.
It was definitely the fight of the century. It was electric, and actually both parties fought good. It was amazing.
Yeah, it was amazing.
In this video, what are we going to cover?
We're going to cover what happened in the octagon.
Right.
What happened after the octagon.
Right.
What caused Kabib to jump over the fence.
Right.
And what Conor did after that.
Okay.
We're going to also tap on what Dana White is covering up. Because he went into the press conference and talked about a lot of stuff. We're going to go into full detail about what Dana is actually talking about.
Moreover, what we're going to give you is a little bit of videos from all over. I mean, we're talking about from Instagram and Twitter and whatnot. We're going to bring in some videos and things like that that actually will give you guys a little different point of view once you see it yourself, instead of us just telling you. But before we get to that, what do you think happened in the match?
In the match, it was very, very, very dominant by Kabib.
Okay.
He's done what he's did to 26 guys ahead of Conor,
okay.
and he repeated the same formula, clinical.
Right.
What he did was fake, get him down, and just maul him.
Oh.
All right. As soon as he gets it down, he just mauls the heck out of him. Right. First, second, he won the rounds.
Right.
Conor came back a little bit. I'll give him that.
Right.
In the third, he had him a little bit.
Right.
Because Kabib was kind of gassed out.
Yeah.
But in the fourth, Kabib just took him down, knew it, and took him to sleep. That's it.
Choked out.
Yeah, he just choked him out. He just took him out. He took him to sleep, and Conor was just out of it. He's done. He just tapped out, man. He just could not handle.
Couldn't do it.
Yeah, he couldn't handle what Kabib was throwing at him. So he just.
I think he was gonna break his neck off if he held him anymore.
Yep.
He wasn't even trying. I think he was trying to just kill the guy. I don't think he was just trying to submit him.
Yeah, he was just trying to get rid of him.
No,
because he had so much anger in him.
Where was that anger coming from?
Because what Conor did and his team did was, over the last, I would say, 5-6 months, Conor and his team were just bashing the Dagestani people, the religion of Islam, and what else? His father.
Okay.
Right?
Right.
You gotta protect your father. You gotta be very protective of your father. Every man knows that, right? I'm very protective of my father, so is you.
Right.
And a lot of you guys who are watching, you're very protective of your father. If someone takes shots at your father, you're gonna be very pissed about it. And I think that's what caused Kabib to jump over the fence. Right? And another thing that a lot of people don't know that is Khabib's father was denied an entry to the US to come watch the fight. I don't know what happened. We don't exactly know the details of that, but there's something behind it. And
it's a cover-up, as we say.
Yeah, it's a cover-up, yeah.
One thing I've seen was when the whole chaos was happening and Kabib was, outside of the ring and when he comes back in, I've realized that a lot of people, were talking to Kabib, and he was really not trying to talk to anyone. He was like just, kind of just pushing everyone away. Yeah. And then his brother comes in. And then as soon as his brother comes in, you just see this guy kind of just get calm and composed, and it gives him this genuine hug.
The sense of comfortability,
right?
People
so,
you know and you trust,
Well, that kind of tells you that it's a very strong family bond. Yeah. I hear that, his wife and kids and they all live together. You know what I'm saying? And to be that kind of a champion. So when you see guys that are in the ring, taking shots at that kind of a family that you are just that close with, you kind of invest so much emotion into the fight, and that actually kind of displayed as he was fighting him. I mean, because he was giving him like no mercy. But besides that, it seems the aftermath, of the fight. I feel like the president of the UFC, Dana White, was kind of covering up something.
I think he was, because footage we saw on Twitter showed that Conor was the guy that actually initiated the first contact into Kabib's brother.
So how did that work? How did that work? How did that
I think the video I saw, actually, if I describe it in detail, Kabib jumped over the fence and jumped into the corner of Conor's, right?
Right.
And what happened was, as soon as Kabib's team saw that Kabib has actually jumped over the fence and was actually being attacked by the whole entire team of Conor, they wanted to help a brother out.
So they tried to go over.
So they tried to go over. So they tried to cross the octagon and just jump over. And Conor saw that, right? Conor's also what happened was Conor was actually trying to jump in to where Kabib was
himself,
and then he actually met Kabib's brother on top of the on top of the fence of the octagon, right? And then Conor smacked him. Actually, hit him. He hit him. Right. As soon as that happened, Kabib's brother turns around and then he started just yapping, just hitting Conor, right? And then they got separated. And actually, another thing happened was one of Kabib's teammates came around the corner, was trying to help Kabib's brother, and then Conor comes around the corner and then gives him a left hook.
So that's the second guy.
That's the second guy he hits. And then what happens is there's another guy from Kabib's team with the red
shirt,
with the red jacket. I think
the red jacket
jumps over the fence of the octagon, comes in and hits Conor on the head one time.
Okay.
And then the security separates them, and then what happens is at that point the security just put everything into like a more calm place. They just separate everybody. And at that point I think everybody is just separated. Kabib is taken out, and Conor is being put into corner. Kabib's team is just the two boys from Kabib's team were taken off the octagon.
Yeah. So do you think the overall reaction? I mean, there's countless reactions, and when you're being fair, do you feel that Dana White's position in terms of how he handled things, he was being biased towards Conor?
I think he was being biased towards Conor because if you look at it, like the first thing he did was he went over to Conor, like to actually see how Conor was doing. But the guy who was the champion jumped into a crowd. He didn't go over to him. What he did was he actually sent him out of the octagon. Instead of giving the belt to him, he actually told him, "Hey, get out of here, man. I'm not gonna give you a belt. Get the fuck out of here. Go to the locker room and stay in there."
Well, here's the thing, which I think that's very unprofessional. There's a lot of security. This was a much anticipated fight, and obviously there should have been a better security, a better composure. In fact, Dylan Dennis, the guy that Kabib jumped over the fence to fight, shouldn't have been allowed to stay there any longer. In fact, when the match was over, before Kabib jumped over the fence, he kept telling him to shut up. The security was around that entire area. They knew the tension that that was happening as Kabib was clearly trying to go over to the guy. They should have gotten that Dennis guy because he kept telling him, he was like, "Come here." So they should have took that guy and booted him out of there.
Get him out of the arena. It makes sense. Another thing that a lot of people are now looking at it is like Dana White is favoring Conor.
Right.
Like Dana White is actually favoring his boy, his Irish boy, right? Dana has some Irish roots in him, right? Obviously, and Conor has done so well for the UFC over the past.
He's a poster boy.
Over the past 4 years, Conor has done well for them.
Right.
But if you're a professional, you should not be picking sides, especially if you're the leader of the organization, if you're the president of the whole organization, right? You're the guy who puts everything together. You can't pick sides.
Well, here's what I see. In terms of losers and whatnot, I think I can name about 3 losers personally. You can tell me the rest. The first loser I say is Drake.
See, that's why you should never pick a side on a fight. Never.
Exactly.
Never ever pick a side. Drake, in my opinion, lost the whole entire night. Leading up to the fight, he was winning. He had the Irish flag on his shoulders, posting it right next to Conor. Right. As soon as Conor got whooped, and Kabib jumped over the fence, we saw some crazy.
I think he was trying to fight Drake's little sister.
Drake's little sister, dealing with the guy with the blonde hair. See, the reaction on Twitter was just amazing. The pictures they took out of Drake's face, him just looking like he was just.
He was getting scared, right?
Yeah.
Number 2, I'd say is Dana White.
Yeah, Dana White, yeah, definitely. Dana White just, in my opinion, he kind of lost it at the end. Everything was cool leading up to the fight. He was very professional about it.
Right.
But the moment, Kabib won that fight and jumped over the fence, I think Dana White, in my opinion, just lost everything from then on.
And then finally.
See, here's the thing. You're the guy who's leading this thing. It doesn't matter what you do as you double down on your champion. That's your champion. He represents you. He represents the he represents the 155 title, right?
Right.
He won it. He deserves it. He should get it on his.
That's the king of that organization.
On his belly, man. Right. On his belly. He should get it in the middle of the octagon. It don't matter what the fans are throwing into the octagon. It don't matter.
Give him his belt.
Support the guy.
Okay.
He deserves it.
And then finally, obviously, the biggest loser, McGregor. And you know what? This kind of tells you, boasting ain't cool. Being hard ain't cool. Being humble, that's a different thing.
That's another thing that Dana White did in the post press conference is he said Conor dropped charges of the 3 guys that he fought in the octagon.
Right.
Those 3 guys were actually taken to jail. Right. And Conor dropped the charges, so they were released.
Right.
But what Dana White is not telling us is Conor was the guy that actually instigated the fight.
He's the one that actually threw the first punch.
See, between the 3 guys,
yeah.
Khabib's brother and the 2 of his friends, two dudes who actually fight in the UFC.
Right.
And what Dana said was they're never going to fight in the UFC again. And I think, in my opinion, that's just harsh.
Now that's a very fast conclusion, because now if you look at those video footages, you actually see that McGregor was the one that actually punched them first. Yeah. So they have the right to retaliate and protect themselves. That's self-defense. Right? And then for him to talk about them not getting visas or not being able to participate in the fight, in later fights down the road, and then not coming to the country and whatnot, that's straight up profiling. Now, another thing that they talked about was that Khabib's bags were being held under suspicion of something, but
Connor's were, because that's what Dana White said in the press conference. He said Khabib's bag.
Plug up. I don't even understand how the fuck my plug talk.